on my screen. I'm not doing a good job though.
I think you can flip the video.
There we go.
It's backwards for me too.
Is it?
Uh-huh. I think I can.
Oh,
flip
so
it.
it does reverse it. So is all of that backwards?
Yeah. All that work.
All that work.
I forget. There is a way for me to flip it or for you to flip it.
No, well, on mine it shows forwards. So I guess
Ah.
mine is flipped, but it's right for you. So I'm looking at it backwards and I was like, oh, I gotta erase it. Now, well, that makes me feel better because I just spent like 20 minutes like, how do you do it? It's really hard. Try that today. That'll be a fun activity, guys.
Trying to read it too. Boy Craig. Is boy the first word or last word?
No, it's a first.
Boy Craig.
He sure has come a long way.
Oh. I'm working on it. Always the creative.
Well, I got this big whiteboard now. I got to fill it up with something.
That's pretty cool.
Craig is sphere one. Yay. All right, good. Okay, so you were doing pricing and collections and trying to figure some stuff out. How's that going for you?
I think I'm getting there, but I'm still trying to make it attractive and simple at the same time. So in my mind, I thought if I offered 3 basic collections, that would be, you know, awesome for the first time. That just 2 or 3 things for them to choose from. One of the things I was running into was, do I charge a set fee and offer a collection with that, as you know, the other 2 collections as an option, or do I charge a sitting fee and then you choose your collection? I don't know. But you told me, you gave me a homework assignment to figure out my my overhead for the day. So I was trying to do that, and I posted it, but
okay. Well, let's go see what we have and then we'll go through that. As far as the basic collections versus having like the sitting fee and then letting them decide, it's kind of like 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. On the upside of having a sitting fee, you know that everyone that's coming in is paying a set amount. So that's a really good way to make sure your costs get covered.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, so let's pull this up and we'll screen share just so that I can go over it with you.
Okay.
Is that right? Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. I'll keep it on my screen for now. Okay. I've doubled the cost of the room because no matter where I have the event, I'll need a separate room to shoot in. That's very true. Having a salesperson, MUA, and hairstylist, I realize if things are going according to plan, they'll be dealing with the client. That's also true. 6 people plus me and the person I'm shooting, there's no way it could all go down in the same room. I completely agree. And I also think that it's very important to have a separate room that they can go to feel safe, especially if you're doing multiple people. You don't want onlookers. It'll just make your people self-conscious.
Yeah, I was thinking that also. I don't know why I didn't think of that right off the bat. But
7 women and myself in a hotel room might sound awesome, but I have a strong feeling it would be a nightmare. I agree. So have any of the hotels you've looked at, did they have suites that actually have a couple of rooms in them?
I haven't looked at other hotels. Okay. But I think I have looked, but not extensively. So they do the bed and breakfast. It's just a beautiful place, but I don't know that that's going to work because um, I don't I don't know if they will appreciate people leaving one room to go to another. If it's a big hotel, people don't care. There's hundreds of rooms there, but this
Right.
place has like 6 rooms, so I don't know if they'll. I'd have to talk to them because I still would like to have it at that place. It's a little more expensive, but not much more than a hotel. Um, so it's you know, but if that doesn't work, then I will book a place with a suite, with a
Okay.
living room and a bedroom kind of setup. Or do you think 2 separate rooms total?
No, I mean, I think that 2 different rooms alongside each other are fine as long as I would make sure that you provide a couple of robes or kimonos, like go buy some cute little negligee kind of robes, like silky things,
Right.
for them to put on while they're going in between the rooms, and make sure that the rooms that you get are right next to each other. If they're right across from each other, that's one thing. If one room is here and the other one is down the hall, that's totally different animal.
Right.
So I don't think that it won't work, especially if you love the visual and the ambiance of the bed and breakfast, then I would definitely do that.
Okay.
So, and really 2 rooms for 400. If you're going to a bigger hotel and getting a suite, you'll probably be paying more than that. You know, I know the Waldorf, when we got the penthouse suite, was like 1,500 a day. So, yeah, so it just depends on what, but the penthouse suite had 2 bedrooms, a full kitchen and dining room, a living room, a second sitting room. Like it was basically like an apartment. I'm pretty sure it had more square footage than my house. Um,
Awesome.
so product demos, 500. Is that all of your sample albums or what are product demos?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know if I should add this as far as cost of overhead because it's something I need to have anyway as I move forward.
Um, it's it's yes and no. You're getting them done for this event, but they'll also serve you for every shoot you have after this, as long as you're continuing to offer those products.
Mhm.
So it wouldn't necessarily go into my overhead for break even. It's more of a business expense than it is an overhead for this event, even though you're getting it done specifically for this event, because it continues to serve you afterwards. So if you're able to break even minus that 500, then I would consider it a success in the sense that at least you had a profitable learning experience. Anytime that you can test run something and come out even is success in my book. And I don't have it happen very often. But I also think that that's awesome to include it in, to know that if you break even or come out above that, that then you did really, really well with all the planning because you covered everything that you came out of pocket with. So,
Okay. Yeah,
um,
like that.
advertising. What are you doing for advertising?
I was mainly going to use social media, Facebook. I kind of wanted to play around with the Facebook ads, the Facebook promotions, maybe $5 or $10 a day, just
Yeah.
just just I did it one time. I just wanted to see what the Facebook will show you how many people have seen the ad, and it went from like 1 or 200 to like 2, 3,000, and I just spent $10. So I thought,
Okay.
well, maybe I should spend $100 on this and get it out there. You can really target age groups and interest and all that. So maybe that would work. I think it's worth $100 investment to see how it plays out.
Okay. You said you used it once before.
Yeah, just not for to schedule anything. I just posted something. And I'm like, I'll spend $10 and see if it. Now Facebook could be lying to me and told me 2, 3,000 people saw the ad, but I don't
No,
know.
they'll see it the same way that you see ads on the side of your screen every time you go up. But how many of those do you click on?
I don't click on anything.
Ah,
Um,
neither does 95% of the other people. So they're counting anytime that you go to Facebook.
mhm.
Let's see, does it come up? Yeah, like these, they
Yeah.
just paid to see Verizon Wireless and PayPal. That's one, I'm now one of those 3,000.
Right.
Okay. So that's the downside of doing it like that, as you can see. And I'm not sure. Ideally, it's supposed to be individual likes, but I'm not sure if I hit the reload button, PayPal came up again, if that counts as 2 of their likes or not.
Right.
You know, or not 2 of their likes, but 2 of their views, if it's by that. So if you're just trying to gain awareness, like if my job is just, and I've never done ads for my pages, but if my concept is to get my pages up, if I'm trying to get to 12,000 likes this week, them viewing it might be enough. However, if I'm trying to get them to book, I don't want them to see this button. I want them to click on it.
Right.
Okay. So if I was going to do ads specifically for an event where I want them to book, I would be paying per click, not per view.
Okay.
Okay. Because it shouldn't, and I haven't done them. I think I looked at doing them several years ago, so I'm not sure it runs the exact same way, but, well, let's go see. Let's go run an ad. I don't even know how to do it. Let me see. Promote. Let's try that.
Okay.
Promote your website. So you can promote the event. And pick your people. Oh, I like its recommended interest. That's pretty cool.
That's scary too.
Yeah. Okay, so estimated 18 to 33 clicks per day. Duration. Can I? Oh, is it only clicks now, or do they do just views?
I haven't done it in a couple of months. I don't remember having a choice between clicks or views.
Okay, maybe they just.
Yeah, I felt like it was all just information. They let me know how many clicks there were and how many views, but Facebook's been doing some updates, so they may have changed some stuff.
Okay, yeah. See, when I did look at it, you were allowed to choose like a dollar amount, and you were allowed to choose how many clicks. I don't know why. Apparently, I'm not allowed to advertise. Way to go, Facebook. But I remember when I looked at it before that you could choose whether that was, they called it impressions,
Right.
which was how many people were seeing it, or action, which was how many people were actually clicking on it. So if they don't do that, then if they're just keeping track and letting you know, then you really can't do it. But I would do it per click, and you could put it in, and it would, based on how much you were willing to pay per click, was how often it got shown to people. So it would take you a good bit of time to get that many clicks, because they would only show it a couple of times a day.
Right.
Because I was always looking at bidding low, and that's, so the higher you went, the more clicks it was. So,
right. I can tell you how many likes I got off that $10. It was about 8 or 9, which is, for me, for my number, was a lot. But
well, how many people do you have on your fan page right now? That's not where I want to be.
Just 176.
Okay.
So this was about 2 months ago. So I wasn't calling it a success or a failure, more testing the waters.
Well, see, now here's the thing, is that in theory, you and I should be able to put $5 in to get a certain number of likes or clicks. And you should get the same that I do if we're paying for it. Organic reach and viral reach is different, but but if you're paying for 33 to 50 clicks and I'm paying for 33 to 50 clicks, then we should both have the same amount. We should both end with that. So that's actually not a good sign if you only got 7 or 8 for like $10. But that might have to do with the content that you were putting out. And I have heard that they have gotten really strict, especially with Boudoir, about which images they accept for promotion. So maybe I'll run one just to test it and share my
Yeah,
thoughts and findings.
they denied me before based on the photo. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was just promoting a photo.
yeah, I'm gonna get like 80 to 100 negatives before I actually find an image that they'll accept. Okay, so you're thinking of running an ad. What are you thinking of running for your ad? What are you putting up there?
I can show you a sample of it.
Okay.
I was working on it. Give me 1 second.
Because the Facebook ads are the epitome of the elevator pitch. Okay.
And share. So that's what I was working on, something like that. Can you see it?
I'm seeing a black screen.
Oh, crap.
I see your mouse though.
This must be a Windows 10 thing. Let me open it in Photoshop.
Okay. All right. So looking back over your notes, my main struggle is how to put it all together. Feel like I should advertise the marathon with a flat price and include one product with that price, i.e. $4.95, including 2 image folio. The other option is a flat price for the shoot and then allow them to select from one of the 3 products I offer. Only 3 to keep it simple for now. I also wonder if I should advertise all 3 products or only talk to them in person at the shoot. And lastly, how much of a deposit to take or take the whole $4.95. Okay, so the folios, your cost is $60. The 5 image matted box is $160, and the 10 image matted box is $230. Are you going through Fineo for these, or where?
Yeah, that was Fineo's prices.
Okay.
Can you see the image now?
I can.
Okay. I'm not quite sure how to turn off the lines there.
Okay, so is this the image that you're trying to put in the Facebook ad that'll show up on the side?
Either the Facebook ad or just post it to my page.
Okay.
I have a feeling Facebook won't approve.
They might approve this one. I don't think that, let's assume that they do, but do me a favor and we're at what, 50% right now? Go ahead and take that down to about 10%.
Oh, not
the size, yeah.
Oh, the size.
Zoom out. Keep going. Keep going. That's about how big it's going to be on the size of the ad.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so that's the first thought. None of the, so you shouldn't have any text at all in the photo if you're going to do an ad for online, because they're always super small. So you can probably come forward like probably 1. Just, yeah, like that's pretty close to about the same size when I'm looking at the thing. I'm almost certain too that it's got to be a landscape photo that they get cropped.
Okay.
So being that Facebook is a little more prudent in what they approve, I would say go for a really beautiful glamour portrait, something close up, big eyes, that is just her taking up the whole frame, but make it a good, interesting portrait.
Okay.
So that it can be seen even when it goes away. And as you're going through and picking your photos, just remember to zoom all the way out with them and see them at about the size that they're going to be as the ad, because that looks okay when you're pulling it up real big. But when you get back that far, you can't even make out what it is. Like I can sort of see her, but the lines are really distracting. Half of it is text, and the only thing I can read on it is holiday marathon. I can't even read the price from the screen. So you want to keep all that in mind while you're doing it.
Okay.
And so all of that's totally different though if you're going to post it on your own page. Like you can still do that as part of the promotion for it. So go ahead and bring it forward so we can take a look at it. Okay.
That's good?
Yeah, that's good. So book our intimate portrait photo session, feel like a celebrity for the day. Your photos will make a unique and personalized gift for that special someone in your life. Beautiful and exclusive location. Okay, so repetition. You don't need to say beautiful and exclusive location and then say at the beautiful overlook farm.
Oh,
Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah.
once. So I would take that whole last line, beautiful and exclusive location would come out. And I would just say at the beautiful Anaheim Overlook Farm.
Okay.
The website should stay. Call or email. Do they not have a way to book it directly?
I hadn't even thought of that until I saw your page.
Okay.
So I think I can set up something to like a call to action button that they can click to book the times.
Yeah, if you're planning on doing all of your advertising on Facebook, then I would highly recommend that you make your call to action to whatever the page is that they can book. Even if that is just an email, but it comes off as more put together if it takes them to your website and actually allows them to book the session.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I don't know if you have the ability to do that. Phone is fine, email is fine. I always put as many options for whatever they're comfortable with. Like I've had clients that will text me pictures of their credit cards when I say, "Are you ready to pay your deposit?" And I'm like, not the safest way to do that, but okay. So, and then other people are like, I will call you with the number and then I will text you the expiration date, and then I will email you the 3-digit security code. So it's just about whatever works for them in terms of paying, whatever makes them feel comfortable with parting their money.
Right. Okay.
I love the design element and that you're being creative with it, but you're distracting from the beauty of your work by turning the opacity down on the art and putting these giant lines across her face.
Okay.
I like the design element, and it would work great for other businesses, but that image is what you are selling. So it shouldn't be the afterthought in the background.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So at minimum, I would take the lines off of her on the top. And let that be the image, or have them go behind her maybe and just pull the opacity to 100% where she is, but keep them so that they go through and behind her if you really like that design element. $4.95 a session. That's good. I think that we have, and I'm so guilty of this. This is so a matter of do as I say and not as I do. But you have a lot of flowery words that aren't necessary.
I was trying for flowery words.
And it's good, but it's also unnecessary because you're working with limited space. So you want to get the message across quickly and in as few words as possible. So booking our intimate portrait photo session is a little bit clunky. Okay. Intimate portrait photo session. Intimate portrait session works just as well. I would take photo out. Okay. Feel like a celebrity for the day. I don't think that needs to be in there. Your photos will make a unique and personal gift for that special someone in your life. Is you're wasting a lot of ad space with with conclusions that they can come to themselves about why they're doing it. So one, I wouldn't presume to know why they're coming in or what they're doing. Your photos will make a unique and personal gift for that someone in your life. Pretty much alienates anybody that's single, especially if they've been in a recent breakup. That can be a trigger switch that turns them off from booking you.
Oh, yeah.
So it's so you're thinking, oh, we can do this great. And most of my people that come in to get gifts for their significant other or with them. But it's that one thing that's she's like, oh, sexy portraits. That sounds for that significant someone, well, F that guy, and they're off and on to somebody else, and you just gave it away. So you got to be careful about triggers with wording and unintentional alienation, because it's kind of both, but the emphasis is on that because that gets an entire sentence, where the other one's an afterthought to booking the session. So it seems like that's who you're catering towards. So going back to mine, actually, let me pull it out. Hang on a second. Okay. So with mine, look, like they're super simple. Mine is a woman's an artist and paints with seduction. Like it's one line, it's my tagline, that's it. Contact info and what's in the session. And it's really, really simple. And it was painful for me to do this because I live for flowery words. But it really is, it's just hair, makeup, photo session, massage, hors d'oeuvres for $2, $500 for the day, you know? And so it's really, really simple and to the point and explaining what it is, because this is just to get them in. Once they get into the sale room and book the session or email you, that is when you use all your flowery words to book them. Okay. So it's $500. Your investment is placed towards wall portraits, reliquary boxes, or cinematics ordered the day of your session. Okay. So it's simple. It's to the point. The third page has nothing but my contact info on it. And the middle page has all of the prices in it. If you are selling for volume and you're doing multiple shoots in one weekend, then you are selling at low cost, high volume. $4.95 is really high priced for people that are coming in to essentially picture people for the weekend. And I don't say that as an insult, because your work is phenomenal. And I love it, and you can definitely do that. But it's very difficult to sell people on quality when you're operating in a quantity mentality. So studios that have many people come in, and we'll step away because boudoirs, there used to be like glamour shots. Like it was before my time, but I hear lovely stories about them. But when you think of like Sears or JCPenney's or Picture People or there's a couple of others, but the ones that come in, they're really big right around now because everybody's getting together for the holiday season. Everybody sends out the Christmas cards. It's like 30 minutes. Come in, photos, you, everyone, look at the camera, here, click, 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 get your pictures and get out. And that's the mentality of it, because that's the way it has to be in order for them to do as many sessions as they do, because they book one like every 10 to 30 minutes. It's a little bit different because you're somewhere in between the two, where you're only doing 5 or 6 tops, you know, preferably 3 or 4 in the day, but they're also getting hair and makeup, which they don't get at any of those studios. So you have to consider that a separate service, essentially. Okay. So for them to come in and spend that time and basically sit in a waiting room with other strangers waiting for their turn to get their picture taken and then come back, and you're going to be moving them through, you're shooting at a lower quality level than you are if they have your undivided attention for the day. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So $4.95, it isn't undoable, but for your first one, if you want to get these people in, it's going to be tough to book them unless they can immediately see the value in the price of what they're paying. So you're asking them to part with $4.95. So the immediate question is, what do I get for $4.95? Have you ever noticed that when people are selling things, you know who's the best place to look at this? QVC. You know, oh, you're getting this. It's a $500 value, but if you buy in the next 30 minutes, we're going to give it to you for $120. But wait, there's more. We're also throwing in this beautiful kitchen sink and a pet baby giraffe. Don't you want to help the animals? But only right now for the next 20 people, you know, and that's what they do with every single item they sell. But you'll notice when they do it that they always have the price slashed through. So it was $800. It's now just for you, 2 easy payments, $29.95, you know? So it's the same kind of thing. If I was going to put it in and I was going to try to book, and I'm going to try to convince these people to part with $500 essentially a month and a half before Christmas, and not even, you're doing it when? The first week of December?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're catering to women who are notorious for being shoppers, who do 80% of the shopping during the holiday season, and usually for other people. So not only are you asking them to spend essentially $500,000, which is that's a really good car payment and close to some people's mortgages, but you're asking them to do it at the holiday season when cash is tight. And you're asking them to be selfish and spend it on themselves, which a lot of women have a really hard time doing without feeling incredibly guilty. So you're fighting quite a couple of different things. Does that all?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
So if I was going to ask them to part with $500, you know what a lot of women will do right before the holiday season? They'll go get their hair done. So you might think about, and I don't know how your hairstylist is, but it would be a totally different experience if you could actually hire a hairstylist that could not only style, but also cut their hair, so that we're pulling 2 in 1. So if you could partner with a salon or with a stylist that can come to you and actually cut and style hair, most of them are getting that done anyway. And I'm telling you from experience, if you're cutting and styling hair and you have any kind of length to it, you're dropping at least $100 to $150. So that's a third to almost half your price to begin with. Right. If you're coloring it, you're dropping $200. Same thing with makeup. They'll usually invest $50 to $100 in makeup to get their makeup done. So if you were to talk to your makeup artist and put together gift bags with like, I know my makeup artist, Sarah Jane, when she does weddings, the bride always gets like a little care bag that has a small lipstick that's in the shade she used, so she can reapply for the rest of the day, and foundation and stuff like that, so that she can reapply, but it'll last her way after the wedding. So having little gift bags, and if your makeup artist is any kind of decent, they might be sponsored already. So this is a good chance for them to work with their sponsors and put together sample products that then get new customers for their sponsors as well.
Okay.
So between the two of those, that starts to translate value outside of the photographs themselves. And then I would have the portrait session and what your usual price is to book for the day. So even if you're not doing a sitting fee, even if you're doing $4.95 and it's a 2-image folio, saying, complimentary sitting fee, $500 value, image folio, $300 value, hair styling, $100. Let me think. It's probably just to get it dried, even if you don't get it cut. If I went and just got my hair styled for the day, it's probably $35 to $70, depending on the salon, just to get it done so that it looks less like this. So, $75 value, makeup, $50 value, and you start to add that up and what they would have spent. And then you can start translating and going, essentially, you're getting a $1,200 value for a $4.95 price tag.
Okay.
Does that sound better?
Yeah, it all sounds really good. I'm actually thinking that I may, in order to arrange it all, because when I do it, I want everything ducks in a row. Let's fire. I may have to back it up from December 5th.
I would highly, 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 highly recommend that you back it up until like the first week of February and do it for Valentine's Day, when everybody is looking for gifts to get their significant other.
Okay.
That's a really good one to pull on, that allows the girls to be selfish while still saying they're doing something for their boyfriend or husband or girlfriend or whoever,
right.
And you can do couples photos then as well.
Okay.
which is 9 times out of 10 the girl dragging the guy along saying it'll be fun, and he's just going because he knows about the new underwear she bought. So I would definitely put some more time and energy in. It depends on how you want it to go. Really, you can do it. Maybe do a 1-day one instead of a whole weekend. Put it out, test your ads, put in $20 for a booking and see how it goes, but book for 1 day. So it's a smaller overhead. It's less overhead that you're paying your staff for your hair and your makeup. It's less, maybe just have two products, that you put together, or get them all done now and see. That way you can look at that and then do a big push. Then you have another 2 months to put together, a big push for February.
Okay. This was a 1 day.
Okay.
Saturday, I have the room booked from Saturday till Sunday. So I was thinking of trying to do as many as I could Saturday and maybe one on Sunday. But I think I need more time to get everything. I'm the kind of guy I want everything together as much as possible because I know some things are going to be unexpected. So I don't like to jump out there half ready. So I've been pushing all weekend. I'm like, oh, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And I know it's a short time I'm shooting for, short time frame.
It can absolutely be done. You have an entire month. I'm writing an entire book in a month. So if I can do that, you can definitely plan a weekend excursion. And you've already got a lot of the work. Don't psych yourself out from it. But maybe just pull back a little and understand that this is us test running towards a bigger day. So I think Valentine's Day is always the best push. Christmas is a great push too, though. You do have that get this as a gift thing.
Right.
But you can very easily go, it's all about word choice. So instead of going for that significant other in your life, which implies if you don't have one that you shouldn't be here, it's just about going the perfect Christmas gift for you or for them.
Right.
And then it's for you or for them says you can come in and get it just because you want to feel sexy yourself. It also tells people that are in relationships you can go and get it for your significant other. It also tells a bunch of husbands and boyfriends you can go and order a gift certificate and buy the session for your girlfriend, wife, whoever.
Right.
So that's a really good way to go about it too. Don't discount how many people will actually buy the session for someone else.
Okay.
And then I would test run a bunch of different conversations that you're having when you're pushing it, and look towards who your potential buyers are, and if that differs from who your subject's going to be in front of the camera. Because that's one of the big things with people that are children photographers is that their client is always mom and dad. Their subject is little children.
Right.
But the kids don't buy their own portraits and they don't care about getting their picture taken. So you had to be able to cater to the kids as a photographer and cater to the parents as a business person. It's two totally different mindsets.
Okay.
So I think you're about 60% of the way there.
Okay. So $495 and the 2-picture folio, because that is what I was thinking. I should probably lower that packet or that somehow.
It
Even my wife,
depends.
she looked at it. She said, "I think that's a little high."
Well,
and I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay. Well, looking at what you have your rates at, you've got 400 for the 2 rooms, 100 for snacks. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 15, 950, 1,050, 1,150. So we'll say 1,150. We'll leave out the product demos.
Okay.
So from somewhere between 1,200 and we'll say 1,750. At $495, you essentially only have to book 4 sessions that weekend to break even, and that's including your product demos. You only need 3 over the course of the whole weekend to make a profit if we're not including these product demos.
Okay.
So it just depends on time, really. I mean, how many sessions do you want to book ideally?
Like 10. I know that's
Can
a
you
lot.
do that though?
Well, if we keep it to, you were saying, 30 minutes or less for hair and makeup and for shooting, keep it 15 to 30 minutes. I mean, the check-in time's 11. I'm thinking I could start at 12:30, 1 o'clock, run until the evening, maybe 8, I mean, that's one every.
All right. So we're thinking, I'm going to erase my happy. Good feeling, good. All right. So we're thinking 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say your girls are good, and we'll say an hour for hair and makeup. So that puts them at 12. So that would be your first session. While they're doing that, they're working on the second girl. That's the first girl. Second girl comes in at 12. She's ready to shoot by 1. That's 2. Are you taking a lunch break?
Yeah, I have to let people eat.
Okay. So we'll say you do that, and you would be done this session between 1:30 and 2. And then you would take a break until, well, they would be done at 1. So technically your hair and makeup team could be eating at 1 o'clock. But
Right.
part of having a good team is team building. So I would recommend that you set aside time.
Okay.
Thinking about times people usually eat, it really just depends. Like, you can do it both ways. When I do the Giving Tree sessions, we don't have like a formal lunch, but I have the whole day catered. So there's an entire spread of food that clients and my staff and everybody can pick at. So you could do, brunchy kind of stuff and have a bunch of bagels and bread and, stuff like that. You could also have a bunch of sandwiches delivered. You can definitely do fruits and chips and pretzels, anything that's not messy, that we're not going to have to worry about them spilling on their clothes or having sticky fingers. That kind of stuff is all things you want to take into consideration. And having, a cooler of water and juices, no sodas, because it makes everyone bloated. But having it for convenience is good. So it's pretty much just like a choose your own, and don't worry, I have Liquify. So those are all things to consider. So if you do that, then everybody can eat while they're not working. So while this girl's done at 1 o'clock and is ready to go into you to shoot, they can be sitting and eating and visiting, but you're going to have to test run how quickly you can move everyone through, because you've got this girl coming in at 11 for the first one, and she's in hair and makeup until 12. We'll say she shoots with you until 12:31, and then she's got to go to your sales girl, and she'll be with her from probably 1:30 until 2. Now, ideally, when this girl's done here at 12, the next girl's going and she's done at 1, which means she's ready to go at 1 o'clock when you're just about done shooting this girl. So it's going to be back to back to back to back to back to back to back.
Right.
And that can get really tiring really quick. It's going to be tiring for the clients, let alone the people.
Right.
So, and that's not accounting for anybody whose hair isn't cooperating, or, who they have to be. Yeah, or who's late. And yeah, like, what happens with that? If they show up, she's supposed to be here at 1 for her hair and makeup, and she shows up at 1:30, and you have somebody else that shows up at 1:30, who do you take first? The girl that was on time or the girl that was late? Maybe the girl that showed up late also can't stay late. Usually the case.
Right.
Or does that push everyone back? Are you going to have set appointment times, or is it a come as you are kind of thing? Because most people won't be able to set aside the entire day. So, and you will hit all of these.
Right. Okay.
No pressure.
Leave some padding. No, it's okay. So if I leave some time throughout the day, instead of booking everything so close, stretch it out. That way everything's flexible. Something goes wrong, we can still bounce back. I even think taking a break, whatever time for lunch, allows everyone to regroup, it allows me to figure out, okay, I think after lunch I want to do this differently. You know, just because you know, it's a learning experience also.
If I was coming in at 11, I would say skip lunch. I would take your team to breakfast, get everybody fed, caffeinated, and on the same page the morning of. So I would take them out to like brunch at like 9:30, 10. Feed them, caffeinate them, get them ready to go, get everybody hyped up about what you're doing, and then get in there. That way everybody's fed at like 10:30 for your first session, because you don't want to do one session and then break if you're going to 8 o'clock and then break again. So it'd be better to do it in the morning and then take a late lunch, early dinner break, maybe around like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Right.
To give everybody a break to regroup and then go until 8. You know, rather than breaking at 1 and then breaking again at 5, then you're missing out on 2 possible sessions that you could book in timing. So, and same thing, even if you are feeding them before and you're having like, you're either having dinner brought in and delivered or you're going out, I'd recommend having it delivered. If anything, I would still have a whole bunch of hors d'oeuvres, snacks, and beverages to keep everybody hydrated and happy in the interim.
Okay.
And I would imagine that you're probably going to spend closer to 200 on food, depending on how many people you have.
Okay. I'm gonna write this down so I don't forget.
Hair's everywhere today. Okay, so we're gonna start at 11. I would say set aside, honestly, for being your first time, I would say 2.5 to 3 hours per session, which if you're starting at 11 puts the next girl at 2, and then at 5, and then if you want, if you're only doing them until 8, are you starting or are you ending at 8?
I don't know. I mean, we could. I mean, if we can book it, we can. I mean, we can end at 8. I don't know if we want to start one at 8 because I got a feeling that could run. I don't mind being late, but clients, I don't know if they want to be, you know, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and it's kind of.
Oh, I've had people here till 2 a.m. and they've been fine.
Oh, okay.
Some people are night owls and some people are morning people, so you'll have both. So I would just, I mean, if you have the hotel and the time and you have the stamina to keep going, then if somebody calls and is like, hey, I'd like to book a later session, you know, I'd say, you know, we have one at 8 and maybe even 10, you know.
I'm all right with it.
I would say an hour for hair and makeup is fair game. It's probable that if you are not working with a team that knows you and works well with each other, that it could take longer.
Okay. We don't know each other. We are
Okay.
for the first time.
So one of the best things that you could do for yourself between now and then would be to get together with these people and do a test run. Find a model and have them work for speed and quality and see how fast they can get it done. Hair, makeup, shoot.
Okay. That's a great idea, actually. That's awesome.
Test it and time it. You know, just like literally like start a clock, like, and see, because it depends, because I've seen hair and makeup artists that work together as a team, and the one will be curling hair while the other's getting makeup, but at the same time, you can't have somebody brushing somebody's head while they're doing mascara.
Right.
You know? So it just depends on how they work together. So she's going to be in the hair chair and get her hair done, and then she's going to move over to makeup. You know, it's gonna take double the amount of time. However, on the upside, if she's going to move from the hair chair to the makeup chair, then the hair chair is empty, so you can be working on the second girl. So it's an assembly line. Yeah, so honestly, I would recommend that you do a test run with them and bring 2 models in so that they can so you can see how it's going to run and see what your timing is going to be for the second person, because one person isn't really a fair assessment if you're going for a marathon shooting.
Okay.
So have the first girl start and assume whatever you want your schedule to be, that's what it's going to be. So if you want to try to do it in 1 to 2 hours, then I'm fine with that. Go for that. And tell the one model to show up at 11, and tell the next one to show up at 11:30.
Okay.
You know, and then that way one's in hair, and tell them, you know, okay, your hair girl has 30 minutes to do hair. So this one shows up at 11 and goes right into the hair chair. By 11:30, she's in the makeup chair, and the second girl is showing up and sitting down to get her hair done. Within 30 minutes, makeup is done so that you can go shoot, and hair is moving over to makeup, you know, and then that way you then have 30 minutes to go and shoot her and see if you can send her to your sales girl, you know, and I would have your sales girl sit down too and come in and be part of the team and run through her sales pitch.
Okay.
You know, have her sit down and try to sell her, you know, like offer a complimentary session, you know, and waive the $495 for this session to get your team in and get them working. Tell them you're building your portfolio, and include, you know, 2 prints or something in the cost for the test run, but still have your sales girl sit down with her and talk to her and see. You might get a couple of sales out of it, and it might cover your time. If not, it's good feedback for you to then touch base with the models and go, how did my sales girls do? Was there a reason that you didn't purchase? What would have made you want to purchase? What feedback can you give me? How'd you like hair and makeup? That's all excellent information to have moving forward, aside from it. Because no matter how fast they do it, I don't care if they're getting it done in 10 minutes for hair and 5 minutes for makeup and 20 minutes shooting. That doesn't mean anything if when you get your feedback, they're like, I hated my hair. My makeup looked like Mimi Dresser. Like, I don't, you know, I wasn't happy with the experience at all. So it's tough to do things fast and well.
Right.
And that'll be the test for you. And that'll give you a good indicator. So if you go and you get them all together and you test run it, and it's a disaster, and you realize that it's going to take an hour for hair and an hour and 20 minutes for makeup, and that you can only do 2 sessions, then obviously we need to rethink the way that we're going about it.
Okay.
You know, but you might go, oh, we're just totally in sync and we're operating at the same frequency and we're in a rhythm like that. This was a piece of cake. I could easily do 7 sessions, you know?
Yeah.
So either way, it'll let you test run before the day, and then the day will be a test run before a larger version of it where maybe you book the hotel for 3 days, you know, and run a really big one. But ideally, you could probably do it and run 3 to 4 of these a year and easily clear 10 grand. Because I do it with the Giving Tree sessions, and those are just kids, and they're not investing, you know, thousands of dollars on it. So, but it's efficiency. You know, and then I don't want to see another kid until next Christmas, including my own. Like, that's the trade-off of it. So, in either case, I would definitely recommend that you book into your schedule that Monday is a day of rest, and maybe Tuesday too.
Yeah. I'm realizing the hair person I got, because last time we talked, you suggested to get someone that can just curl, and I decided to step out of my comfort zone a little bit and just play salesman. And I walked into the local beauty school and talked to the instructor there, and recruited one of the seniors that are graduating to just do hair. But in the process, I also the school wants me to shoot the entire classes senior pictures there, so there's a chance to make a little money there.
Good.
So that's a whole
awesome.
nother thing. Yeah, I was like, wow, like okay, I have to do this more often, out of the comfort zone into, you know, into the world.
That is such an important lesson, because when you stop and you think about it, No growth occurs in the comfort zone ever. You had to step out of the comfort zone to get up off your hands and knees and take your first steps, you know, and go to school and learn to ride your bike without training wheels and go into the deep end of the pool for the first time and ask her on a date. Like everything that you have ever done has come from stepping outside that comfort zone. That's where all of the growth is.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see the universe reaffirming that for you, and also commending you and rewarding you for having that kind of courage. So that's awesome. I'm really excited.
Awesome. I did my little happy dance and everything. Because I mean, I sat here nervous. I'm like, this is what I need to do. Screw it. I'm gonna go. Hop in the car and just walk in off the street and go for it. I'm like, wow,
that's awesome.
That was more
Bravo.
than I expected.
15 karma points for that. That definitely.
It's awesome. So, but she may be the slow person. So the test run thing, that's a good idea. We definitely have to figure something out and do that. I hadn't thought of that at all.
Yeah, that'll be the best way to give you, that'll give you a really good solid basis for how many sessions you can do.
Okay.
And get done in that day. And then it's just, you know, handling the retouching time afterwards without getting burnt out as well. Because doing it that close to Christmas, you can bet everybody's going to want it before Christmas. And I'm pretty sure the 17th is the last day for Fineo. So you'll essentially have 10 days to get all of those sessions done. So keep that in mind, that even if everything works like clockwork and you get in and you're like, oh, I can do 10 sessions, that's 10 sessions you have to edit in 10 days.
Yeah.
You know, so don't spread yourself too thin. You know, if you figure out that it's taking you an hour per girl to get them through hair, makeup, and shooting, you know, give yourself half an hour buffer. That way, if somebody runs late, it's taken care of, and still let yourself do enough to break even and put that money back in your pocket. And that would be my top goal. Like, even if you think you can do 10 sessions and you're going to put 10 grand in your back pocket when all is said and done, just everything in moderation for the first time. This is another case of do as your master says and not as your master does. Your master is telling you from many failures and frustrations.
Yes,
trust in her and don't spread yourself too thin until at least the second time.
Okay.
So, and that's part of it too. Like, I'm telling you from the benefit of hard-earned experience that this is what I would do in hindsight. But when I did it, it was totally a wing it situation. And you know, there were lots of hiccups and pitfalls and potholes, and it still worked out just fine. Like, most of our catastrophizing is internal and never comes to pass. So I think that it'll be fine for you anyway. Worst case scenario, you come out of pocket with some money. You know, very worst case scenario, you put it out, you book the hotel and everything, and you don't get any sessions, and then you find a babysitter and you go away for a romantic weekend and breakfast. Like, just spin it.
Yeah.
And make it work. But I think it'll be fine. I think your ad needs some work. Find a really beautiful picture, preferably of a gorgeous woman, and probably a screen, you know, enough to get the décolletage and the cleavage, because that always sells. Find a girl with some sexy bedroom eyes and some good hair. And you know, we want to avoid the poodle licked outlet thing that I have going on, you know, big curls, big eyes, big boobs. That's what you're looking for in your photo. And you know, and then good luck getting it approved by Facebook. And once you have those two things in, then it's less is more, you know, because I think you only have 2 lines of text that you can use. It's maybe 150 to 200 characters. So you basically have to break down your whole sales pitch into a tagline.
Yeah.
You know, and it can be as simple as boudoir photos, you know, a gift for you or for them. Right. And I would look into gift certificates and letting people buy gifts that people can redeem elsewhere. I would also look into, are you accepting credit cards?
Yes.
Okay, so I would also look into if they can break that down into payments. Because if you
Okay.
start booking it now, like they could book and they could pay half of it now and half of it the 1st of December. Like you could do the 15th and the 15th, like put a deposit down by the 15th of November for $100, pay another 200 December. Oh, well, you're doing it on the 5th. So yeah, it could be like 200 on the 5th of November and 295 on the day. And then, or allow them to take out payment plans for packages and collections they want to buy after. You will double your sales if you offer them payment plans.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
especially in the sales room, if they can break it down, like if they're going to buy a 10 image box, you know, for like, we'll say $2,400, they can take out a year payment plan and pay $200 a month. And that's a lot easier for them to swallow than writing you a check or coming out of pocket with $2,000 a couple of weeks before Christmas.
Okay. So, one more time on the price. You think I should bring that in some?
I think,
I think I'm hearing you say it's a little.
let's say, all right, let's look at it like this. We got 2 rooms. Let's say we're going to do 11 to 8. We'll say 2 hours a session. So that puts you at 11, 1, 3, 5, and 7. We'll say no more than 5 sessions. So let's say 4 for the sake of argument that we're going to do 4 people. We have 400 for the rooms and 350 for makeup, 200 for hair. This is
I think we'll skip
for the day,
advertising.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We'll say 100 for advertising. I like
Okay.
that. And we'll say 100 for refreshments.
Okay.
We'll leave the products out.
Okay.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you're at 1150. Is that right?
You said 1050 earlier, but I wasn't
4,
counting.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 1150.
1150. Okay.
Okay. So you're at 1150. And then we have
4 sessions.
4 sessions. So you're looking at what? You're looking at about, we'll say 300 a session. That would put you at 1200, which is
Okay.
good. That'll give you good buffer. So 300 per girl is what you have to hit
Okay.
in order to break even, assuming that you have those 4. That'll put, you know, what is it? That'll put $850 in your back pocket for the day. So that's a pretty good thing. If we add that 500 for all of your products that you're buying right now, and we put you at 1650, then you're actually pretty close because you're looking at just a little over 400. 400 would be 1600 and it'd be 1650. So it's like $415 per person, somewhere close to that. So you're not far off from your numbers that you have to hit. And that's actually, because that's not including products. So what are they getting for that $495?
I was thinking that the folio, the 2-picture folio.
Okay. So that's another 60. So that is 1200. So we'll say 350 is your magic number then.
Okay.
350 is the minimum that you can charge, and that's to break even.
Okay.
So you have 2 ways to go about it. If you want to assure that you break even, let me ask you this. What happens if you get 2 people that book? Are you just coming out of pocket and doing the sessions anyway, or are you canceling?
Good question. 2 people out of pocket. I might just go ahead and do it. I mean, for the experience and I've paid people before.
Do you have $1,600 right now to make this work?
Yeah, I could make it work.
Okay. So here's the thing is that once you say, I'm going to do this, then you have to do it. Because the bad word of mouth that you will get from somebody being excited about having it and then you bailing is worse and damages your future. So one of the worst things that I see people do is go, I'm going to do this, and then they don't break even and they're like, sorry. Because what does that say? That says, one, I'm not successful enough to book enough sessions to make this financially viable. Two, I'm not dependable. And three, you should be really, really disappointed because I'm not going to deliver what I promised. That is the absolute worst thing that you can do. So you should absolutely have about $2,000 expendable income right now to throw into your business if you're going to try to do this.
Okay.
That's enough to cover what we know are expenses and any incidentals that come up that we're not thinking of.
Okay.
So I would give that some thought first. Now that number goes down exponentially if we're looking at that 1,600, because if you get 5 people, then you're only looking at, even at the 600, at the 1,200, 5 people is only like $225 per person.
Okay.
So that's where you start to see a drastic change. We'll just round it up and say 1,200. Well, no, we'll include that 500. So we'll say 1,650. Let's just say 2,000.
Okay.
Is the magic number that we know we'll be investing. If you're doing 4 sessions, then you have to have $500 to break even. But if you do 5, then you only have to do 4. And if you do 6, then we're looking at like 350, give or take.
Right.
So that number starts to go down exponentially. So it just depends, like, on whether you want to have the people or you want to have the higher price tag.
Gotcha.
Because if you can roll everyone through and your hair and makeup people are good and they can move people through in half an hour segments, then it can be 30 minutes hair, 30 minutes makeup, 30 minutes shoot. While that's in, there's 2 people behind queue. So it only takes an hour and a half. It's 90 minutes to get someone, the first person to you, but it's 30 minutes for every person after, because they have you, or they have hair, they have makeup, and they have you. So it's 30, 30, and 30. So if they come at 11, the first girl's getting to you at 12:30. I'm like writing and you can't even see it, but so the first girl's getting to you at 12:30, but as soon as she moves over, the second girl's sitting down.
Right.
So even though she's getting to you at 12:30, the next one's there at 1 and 1:30, 2, 2:30, 3, and 3:30, 4, and 4:30. And we'll take a break from 5 to 6. So that's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now 9 people at that $2,000, you're looking at less than $200 a person to break even.
Right.
See?
Okay.
So it kind of breaks down.
Yeah, I have to balance what I'm looking for and then go for that, basically. Okay.
So I would say that probably the best thing that you can do right now is to, as quickly as possible, plan for basically a play date and a test run. Get 2 models in, get your hair and your makeup and your sales girl in, and run them through.
Okay.
And see how long it takes you and have them time it. So like just have them start on the nose and write and mark down when they're done, when they send them from one chair to the next, so you can see, because it's probably not going to be exactly even. Like we'd like to say, oh, it's 30 minutes hair, 30 minutes makeup, but it's probably going to be more like, 23 minutes is the average for hair, but 42 minutes is the average for makeup. It's still coming out to be about an hour there. They're spending between 15 and 30 minutes with you. And so, whatever it is, round up. If you're looking and, both sessions, the longest time was like 81 minutes, just round up and say it's going to be an hour and a half or it's going to be 2 hours, and put that between, each session, because it's worse to have them sitting there doing nothing. on the upside, while they're there, if you have a sales girl and one of them's in with you, she can be talking and pre-selling people before. Like, she doesn't have to be in a sales room, you know, with all of it. She can be looking and going through. All you're looking for in a salesperson is somebody that can sit down and go, oh my gosh, so we have all these things, and these are little folio boxes, and they're trifold, and so this is what you get with it. But what I really love is this one, which is a full-size print, and then we have these really beautiful wall prints up here that you want to do, and then, you know, we have the albums, and, you know, go through this, and, you know, oh my God, I love that shot. Don't you love that shot? Make sure you get him to get a shot, because there's a big window in there. That's what your salesperson is doing the whole time, is just exciting them about what it is that they're doing and talking to them about what they want. So I think that's your next step towards success, would be to test run it, so you know how many sessions you can do, and then you can decide how many you want to do on that. If it's going to take you 2 hours per session, do you want to go 2 hours from 11 to 8? Do you want to take a 2-hour break for dinner? You know, time is money. It's one day. My personal thoughts are suck it up. Because it is. Like, I run myself ragged for the Giving Tree sessions. We do 40, 50 sessions in a weekend, but then I don't move for a week after that, you know, but it is go, 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 because I only do it one weekend a year. And that's for charity. I don't even do it for me. But you know, it's, you also don't want to burn out. And so if going back to back to back to back and not taking a break is going to diminish your ability, and by the evening sessions, somebody's going to be walking in and you're going to be going, they're going to feed off of that energy, you know, and so you won't be giving them the same experience that the people that came at 11 to 1 got. And that's bad too, because they'll feed off of that. They won't buy, you know, then it's not worth the effort. So I can run on caffeine and enthusiasm for 72 hours. After that, I crash. You know, you had to know whatever your personal one is.
Okay. You're awesome, Jessica. A lot to think about, but stuff I hadn't considered, and I want to make it work somehow.
Good. That's a good mentality to have. So call your team, set up a test run. Look at all of your prices. I would say that if you're looking to add that $500 in for your testings, that you should be looking at a budget of around $2,000. If not, I think a budget of, we'll say, $1,300 is probably safe for your overhead. That builds in a little bit of cushion for incidentals. So whatever you're looking at, look to book that many sessions to fill that. If you're feeling like the $495 is high, my only concern with your price is that, coming from, you know, the uneducated client perspective, they're going to come in and go, you want me to pay $500 for 2 pictures?
Right.
You know, so that's kind of the trade-off, but it all depends on how you sell it. So if it's a catered lunch in a nice bed and breakfast, and they're getting their hair and their makeup done, and a photo session, and 2 images, and the dollar amounts for all of those are displayed a such and such value for, and you start to look at that, and you can say, look, you're saving double the amount of money you would usually spend, that's fine. If you're looking to do quantity, where you want to do 8 to 10 sessions, then I would lower the price and just have a sitting fee. You know, so it's, you know, $100 to $150, and that goes as a print credit towards what they want to buy. That also depends on you. If you don't mind doing 10 sessions and having all 10 of them order a 10 image box, then that's great. If you think that you can edit all of them, because that ups it monumentally. On your numbers, you have the 10 image box, the 11 by 14, your cost is $230. We'll just say $250. I would be charging at least $1,000 for that flat. Which at 10 images puts you at about $100 per image, which is pretty comparable to my rates, which is good. So if they can take that $100 sitting fee, you will book sessions and fill your day a lot quicker at $100 than you will at $500. But there's no guarantee that they're going to get to that $500 mark. Now
Right.
you can kind of edge that. Like, you'll know, like, my people are not required to pay anything more. They pay that $500 thing. That's the only amount that they're required to invest. However, now I don't cheat them because they can get an 11 by 14 for $500. Nobody has ever come into a session and ordered one image. At
Right.
minimum, they're going to get this 10 image box. And these are actually my old prices. So those prices are off by $500 each. So this is actually $2,000 now. But even back then, 10 images was $1,500. That was the minimum that anybody spent, especially because of the payment plans, because not all of them could afford to spend a mortgage payment on pictures of themselves in a G-string. However, they can afford to pay $100 a month. That's less than their cell phone bill, you know?
Right.
That's like $3.20 a day or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's all about how you break it down to fit with their budget, which is different than what they can afford. You know, what they can afford in their monthly budget is totally different than the cash that they have in their bank account right now. Right now, this exact moment, I could not afford to come in and pay $3,000 for a session. But I could very easily afford to come in and pay $250 a month for the next several months. You know, it just depends. Like, we just cleared out savings because I bought a new car and I put $5,000 down on the car.
Right.
You know, so that's it. It was $5,000 or 2 sessions with me in my underwear. That's what $5,000 will buy you. I think
Right.
I'll take the car. You know? But if I want both, you know, being able to make it affordable for my lifestyle is totally different. So a lot of times with my clients, I just ask them, well, what can you afford? And whatever it is, I usually go down. So if they're like, well, I can probably afford $100 a month. I'll go, okay, why don't we make it $75 a month? Just so that there's a little bit of extra cushion. You can always pay more. I never say no to more money. You can
Right.
call me at any point, you know? And a lot of my clients do, like, they'll get their tax return, or they'll get a Christmas bonus, or they just come into money or whatever. And they'll be like, can we put $500 down on the project? Yes, absolutely. I will do this. Yes.
Okay.
You always take more money. This is never a problem. I will take your money very happily, you know? So it's the same kind of thing. And when you have that kind of mentality that you're working with them, and it's been that way, even when I used to do weddings, because they would always get slammed with last minute costs and things. I had one bride that called me in tears because her venue double booked accidentally. They screwed it up, and then they told them that they were going to give their day to the other couple because the other couple was booking a bigger package or something with the room. So the only way for them to get the day was to outbid them, basically, which is such bad business. But they called them 3 weeks before the wedding. They already had everything invested.
Yeah.
And they called me in tears because they were supposed to pay the balance of like $2,000 to me. And I guess that ended up being close to the difference. And I was like, no problem, girlfriend. I'm like, I got your pictures. You're not getting them until you pay me. So that's fine. Like, I'll still show up. You already paid half of it. Like, and it was such a moment for them because they were so stressed for her to call. And like, everybody else was like, no, you pay me or I don't show up. And I was like, I'm there.
Right.
You know, if I don't get paid, they'll sit in archive until you pay me. You can call me 4 years later and say, hey, I want my photos, and I'll charge you to take them out of archive, and then I'll edit them. Like, I just won't do the work until it's done. But I'm not going to not show up. Like, it's a piece of cake. Too easy, you know? And sometimes, like, those situations make all the difference. So when your clients know that you're in it for them and not for their wallet, that's when you start having lifetime clients that book you for boudoir and then book you for maternity and then beg you to be a children's photographer and then offer to pay you double to come out of retirement to shoot their niece's wedding. And, you know, like, because they know that you're in it for them and they want that trust. That's what it's all about. So whatever you're doing and however you're going about it, just make sure that that message is translating. And even if you come slightly out of pocket or you just break even on this one, the foundation that you're laying for the next one and the one after that will grow exponentially.
Okay.
So
That's awesome. So take the booking take the booking, the deposit, non-refundable, X amount deposit for this. Okay.
Yeah, if it was me and I was trying to do it all in 2 days, I would set aside 90 minutes per girl.
Okay.
I know that I can shoot, especially if I'm only shooting for no more than 10 images. If you can't get 10 images in half an hour, we need to work more on your photography skills. You know, like 10 images is a piece of cake.
Right.
Especially if you're booking a beautiful room that you have to work with, because the visuals are all working with you.
Right.
So that's, you know, that's one good photo every 3 minutes, you know, and you're shooting at a 30th of a second. That's a lot of frames. So 90 minutes per girl. If I was shooting, you know, an 8-hour day, I'd be looking to do, I think that I could probably shoot 10 to 12 sessions in a day if everything was regimented and I had my team with me.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably do 12 a day. So I would say for your first time that you should aim for
Maybe 6.
6 to 7 would be 8 would be my top out. If you're going from 11 to 8, that's 1 an hour with an hour leeway. So I would go for no less than 5 and no more than 8. That should be your range that you're looking in. I would personally book it at a lower amount to get them in and make sure that my sales girl is on point.
Okay.
Because if they're coming in and spending 100 and then they end up spending 1,000 on that 10 image box and you have 8 of them in, you're going to clear $8,000 that day. And that 1,100 is essentially one session. So you're shooting one girl for free, you know, and that's pretty good. If you were going to give me $1,000 and I was going to give you 8 back,
right,
that'd be a pretty good day. You know,
I'll do that all day long.
yeah, exactly. So that's the way to look at it. One of the other things that you might be able to do too is offer a discount for the second girl. So if I call and book you, it's, you know, we'll say $495, $500. But the second girl is $250.
Right.
You know, because that's going to at minimum cover the $60 for her 2-image folio and her hair and makeup, whatever the minimum is for her. Because when you're breaking it down, you have $350 and $200, so you have $500 basically for hair and makeup. For the day, if you have 5 sessions, that's $100 per girl. So at $250, they're covering their hair and makeup, they're covering the session, and you're still putting $50 in your back pocket, give or take.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but that encourages them to bring a friend and do the recruiting for you. So if I book and you're like, hey, if you bring a friend, it's $250, it's entirely possible that I'm going to go to my best friend and go, hey, come in with me. Between the 2 of us, it's going to be $750. And between the 2 of us, we're going to go, look, we'll each pay $375 rather than booking separately. So it starts to work out for them.
Right.
You know, the other thing that you might be able to do is go find one group of people and offer this as a one-day thing for a specific group. So you and 5 of your friends come in for $1,500, $1,700, $2,000. $2,000 between 5 people is what, $250, and give or take. We don't do math. But you know, you split that up and you go, okay, it's $2,000. There's 5 of you coming in. You guys figure out, as long as $2,000 shows up on the table when you come in, you're paid for it, and they'll probably split it among themselves. And that includes just the 2-image folio, and then you upsell them on the rest. All of your expenses are covered. They have a great time as a group of girls. They're all decorated up. You give them a list of 10 other places that they can go tonight now that they look like rock stars.
Right.
You know, and then that was how I always did it. I always did them as bridal parties and group projects. I never did boudoir with a whole bunch of different people that were strangers. I always looked for the girls that I could bring in as a collective together, that they were having a good time and they came in with a bottle of champagne and they were having fun, and they all got dressed up, and then they would go out for like their bachelor party and stuff like that. So that might be something to look at in the future for how to get 4 or 5 girls that know each other, group parties. You just said you went to the school and they want you to do all the seniors. That might be a gold mine. Your people, your hair and makeup people that you're hiring to do the session might be your key to getting a bunch of girls in to do it.
Right.
You know, so that's something. If they want you to do all the senior photos, then I would totally be looking at booking them for separate sessions on top of that. Like, yes, I'll come in and I'll do your graduating photos and I'll do a group photo. But the studio's open for the rest of the day for anybody that wants to get something personal for their portfolio. They're all hair and makeup stylists. They're all doing their own stuff. You're not coming out of pocket with that. That is such a treasure trove of potential income and portfolio for you.
Yeah.
I would be milking that until like 3 months after the cow has died.
Yeah, I was so excited. There's another branch of that school like 15 minutes away too. I'm like, oh, I gotta hit both of them.
Yes, absolutely. So it may be that this is, you know, portfolio building and more of a learning experience with you, but open that up for possibility, because I see that as being extremely lucrative.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
all right,
Like
that's all I
always,
have for you at the
I
moment.
am excited. Thank you.
You are
Again,
very welcome.
spending
Was
another
there
2 hours with me.
was there anything else that you wanted to hit on?
No, we hit everything that I was wondering about. Just got to make some decisions and
Okay.
plan and go for
Sounds good. Keep me posted.
it. Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.